All right, welcome to the ninth episode of the UFPC, the Unfast Podcast. Today we have our first guest, my brother, the easiest guest. He lives with me anyway, so
unfortunately,
yes, it sucks for him and for everybody else in this house. So, what's going on? What's up? How's your life going these days? Scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10. Wow.
You can lie or be honest.
That is quite the opener, indeed. Do you treat all your guests like this?
Yes, I do. 1 out of 1, 100%, definitely.
Wow. Okay.
Tell me how it's going.
Well, probably about let's say it's at a 9.
Out of 9? That sounds pretty good.
Sure.
Sounds pretty good. All right, so so tell us a little bit about your car life. How's
car life?
Yeah, what's because that's what we focus on here.
Really?
Focus on here in this channel. So
no idea.
So
what's supposed to be talking to this?
Yeah. So what's your what was your first car? Tell the folks. Your first car that you owned.
First car that I owned. So it's kind of a
keep telling us around here.
Kind of a history.
Yes.
Because, well, I mean, my first car that I was able to drive on my own was actually my dad's 2005 Pontiac 5.
I remember.
And I drove it from high school, grade 12, I believe. Right, and after I graduated, kept driving it every day to work. And then,
How long did you how long did you drive that for? Approximately, if you remember.
Maybe 2 years.
2 years. Holy.
Maybe 2.5.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's actually a pretty long time. Is that the longest you ever owned a car, or I guess drove a car consistently?
I think so.
Consecutively, yeah. I guess.
I can't remember. I can't remember how long I drove my second car for.
I didn't know you drove that for 2.5 years. That's genuinely too. I just noticed that.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, you don't mind if I.
No.
Okay. But yeah, wow, 2.5 years. I don't think I've even owned a car for half that, maybe a year. Actually, no, that's not true. This car that I own right now, I'm coming up on 2 years. So
yeah, that's right.
Oh wow. So what happened? What happened to that car?
Well, let's just say the element got a hold of me.
Yeah,
and the ride
up here in Canada. That's how it is. You're risking your life every time you take to the roads. Anywhere between I guess late November and early April, really.
Yeah.
Just snow.
I was a pretty young guy. It was kind of my first real winter driving.
Was it actually?
By myself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it wasn't 2.5 years then. It's got to be less than that.
No way. I mean,
maybe it was under 2 years.
I mean, if you drove it in grade 12, you were obviously at least 6. No, you must have been 17 because you had your G2.
17.
That would have been in November. So.
17.
Or no, would you? I'm trying to think.
I was 18 when I did that.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that must have been the winter, literally the winter after.
It's only been 4 years. Yeah, so I was probably just fresh off of 18. And so what happened was we have a kind of a curvy road. We live in the countryside. And I was going to work. It's about a 15-minute drive, but you have to go through... It's not even that bad of a road, but it's windy.
Yeah.
And
there's a couple long, pretty sweepy curves on there, I'd say.
And it was fresh snow. And if any of you guys have driven on fresh snow, especially when it's kind of still a little wet.
Yeah.
And it sticks to there's a fine line between it, sticking to the ground and creating kind of a ice rink-ish.
Mm.
So I was turning. I must have been going 60, which is pretty
kilometers.
60 kilometers an hour, which is pretty slow considering the speed limit there was about 80. So I was going 60. I have my music up. I do remember this.
Oh man, I could never drive in the winter without music.
Yeah.
I always have to turn it down in case the littlest thing. I'm like, nah, I can't take that.
So what I did was I turned. Just as you regularly would on a curve. And all of a sudden, I couldn't turn back. I just kept turning and turning and turning. I was like, whoa. And obviously, your first instinct is to stomp on the brakes.
Yeah.
And then try to steer left as much as possible.
Yeah.
which I did those two things, and well, that pointed me right in the direction of the ditch. And and of course I was not stopping. My wheels were locked, and I was like a toboggan going down the hill.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and so I flipped the car. And let me tell you, that like 1 second that you have of airtime when the ground is coming up to you,
Oh, jeez.
that's a really weird feeling.
Wait, so I don't remember. Did the airbag go off or no?
Like actually, no, nothing went off.
Really?
Yeah.
So you basically landed like hood, windshield, roof.
Yep.
Oh
pretty
my
much.
gosh. Dude,
I saw the
crazy.
whole windshield just spider web.
Oh, did you actually?
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, it's just dark and like snowy.
Yeah. Well, the windshield was
Wow.
like greenish blue.
Oh yeah, because the light can't get
Yeah,
through.
exactly.
Man,
And
yeah.
the spider webs on the snow, it was really odd.
Dude.
Then I undid my seatbelt and I fell onto my roof.
Did you actually like fall on your head, or did you fall just like kind of like on your shoulder?
Well,
I mean, I guess
kinda-
you've like prepared for it.
Yeah,
Right?
I was like, oh man, I had like one hand up, other one kind of like.
How hard were you like hang? Do you remember like how hard were you hanging? Like, did you have to like really try to get that belt out, or
You
did
know what?
you just?
I don't really remember. What I do remember is what happened after.
Yeah. Oh man, what a mess, dude. Could you imagine though? Like if you live in a place like California or Arizona or something. Like I never thought about this. Like obviously they have like different risks, I guess. Like I don't really know what they would have in place of that. Do you think their insurance
Dead
is like
animals.
a lot? Yeah. Dead animals, dust storms. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think LA gets that. But like yeah, just like I guess California in general. Like just places where it doesn't really snow. Like even if it does, like not to the point where it like freezes over on the ground or anything.
Yeah, it's like enough for a little icing on the cake.
Yeah, but like I can't imagine.
You know, the icing powder.
I can't imagine what it's like to live in that kind of place and like not have to worry about that like all year round. Like I never thought about that, but imagine like someone who's lived there their entire life, like they've never had to deal with like a slippery road. Like, you know, maybe they've gone to a track and they know how to like control a car, but that's on pavement, right? And you have some level of control. But like once you get to like the winter and like up north winter, like here well, I guess we're not really up north, but further up than them at least. And then trying to like master that kind of driving. Like imagine how hard that would be. Cause like we live our whole lives driving, well, we have, I guess, and we will most likely live our lives driving around snow. And you just have to get used to that. It's like a lifestyle adjustment, I guess, because you don't have to worry about like winter tires. You don't have to worry about like lowered fuel economy. You don't have to worry about like other people not being able to stop and maybe crashing into the back of you or something. Like that would be crazy. I can't.
Yeah,
But
would.
I guess like that's I don't know. It's a trade off. I don't know. Maybe they have to pay like a much higher car tax or something, like some sort of what do you call it? Like fee almost? Not really fee, but just some sort of way.
Something that balances it out.
Yeah. Like I imagine that's what they have something like that in place. Not intentionally, of course, but it's just like, hey, you know, you guys have it easy here.
Hey, I'll take your money and put it into our nice roads.
Yeah. That's and they can have that because they don't have like the whole like the snow comes down, it gets cold, everything tightens up a little bit, and then once it melts, like all the water and frozen ice that's been in the roads like expands just that little bit and it melts and it cracks it a tiny bit. And years of that. Dude, I'm a thinker, man. Years and years of that, and like your roads get so garbage to the point that like you have potholes that have to be fixed every like 2 years, maybe not even. And then with them, they're just like, it's just nice black soft tarmac. I think people get mad if I use the word tarmac. Asphalt, I guess, pavement. But yeah, I mean that's just the pros of driving in a warmer weather area, which I think it would be really weird to like travel down. Like if we were to go on a vacation to like, I don't know, again, let's say California or like Florida even, and like in the middle of November or December, well, I guess not November, but like January or February where we have the most snow, and then like going straight from like driving to the hotel or driving to the airport in like a storm, and then getting off the plane into a rental car and just on just nice sunny warm roads. That'd be so strange.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Pontiac Vibe was your first car, kind of. What was your second car, and how did you come about the decision of buying that second car? Obviously, you got
Right. So
You got the insurance payout for the Vibe, right?
yeah,
Or at least part of it. I
well,
think.
no, actually, so the car was under Dad's name. You know, I was 18 at the time, just starting work. Couldn't really afford any cars, and if I could, they were just kind of they were probably less advanced than the Vibe.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as you would as a
Yeah.
19, 18-year-old.
exactly, yeah. So our dad was very generous, and he gave the entire insurance check towards my next car.
Yeah. That was
and
a
of
surprise
course,
kind
yeah,
of to me. I'm not
It
gonna
was about $4,000 Canadian, and at the time I wasn't really looking for too much. You know, I was just looking for like a daily driver.
lie.
And of course
But it had to be stick, right? That's the one thing I remember.
actually, yeah, that's the one thing. I learned in a manual transmission.
Yeah.
Save the manuals, and no, just kidding. Anyways, so yeah, that was my one kind of condition. Some people have like, okay, it has to be leather.
Yeah,
Has to have a sunroof. Mine was like, okay, it's gotta have
16-way power adjustable seats.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I have to have a manual transmission.
Yeah.
And at this point, I couldn't tell you a Ford from a Chevrolet. Like, I was not into cars at all.
Right, yeah. We should probably bring that up. At this point, so keep in mind, my entire life, I've been, I guess, like a car guy.
That's true.
I mean, you know, as you would be in that age. So, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, you know, whatever had four wheels and a steering wheel, I was kind of just playing with on the ground.
Yep.
When I got a little older, I started like recognizing what different brands and models were, and like, you know, oh, you know, this is up here in this kind of class, and this outperforms that and whatever. And then I started learning more and stuff like that. And then by the time you're like, I don't know, 12, I guess, you start like, you do that thing where all car kids do. I guess that's a term, where you like, every time you're on the road with your parents or something, you like look out the window and start naming all the cars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think you did
No,
that.
I think I skipped that.
Yeah,
that came later in life.
Yeah. But dude, for me, starting from like, I can't even remember what age I started doing it, but I just remember all the way up to like, man, I still do it now. I'm not like, it's very subconsciously, I still do it now, where like I will literally just point to a car, name it, and it's just like all the cars that go by.
True.
And I don't know how I learned it. Like, I guess I just, it's just one of those things that you learn like along the way. But like, I could probably recognize, I don't know, every like generic North American car brand.
I remember what we used to do when we were driving with mom and dad was, so in a car, you know, the drivers over here, passengers over here. Mike would always sit here, and I would sit right here. So we always had like set seating arrangements.
Yeah, so it'd always be like, with the four of us, it would always be dad's driving, mom's in the passenger
Yeah.
seat, I'm behind dad, and you're behind mom. That's the way.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's exactly how it was
Sorry
all
if
the time.
my visual
Yeah.
didn't give off the same kind of visual as that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wording.
The funny thing is, some people aren't even going to be watching; they're just going to be listening. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. This is a podcast.
Yeah, it's hard.
But
It's hard to
there's a
remember.
video.
Sometimes. Yeah.
And we are.
Making gestures. Yeah. We
Yes,
are giving
we are
visual aid.
gesturizing.
Yeah.
We are doing the gestures.
Yes, we are.
And
In
so
case you're watching.
this game, back on track, it was, we would kind of like, we would see the lights, and this kind of doesn't have anything to do with the naming, but we'd be like, okay, the lights are coming, and then like close your eyes just before they pass you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of remember
like,
that.
we kind of like tunnel vision ourselves behind the put blinders on behind the seats, the headrests.
Oh,
They'd be like, okay,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
light's gonna come, and then like shut our eyes, and then the light passes, and we're like, okay, we're good, and then we're like, and then like if it was a busy road, we'd just be like having like a seizure. Just close your eyes,
I don't even remember that game too much. I thought it was gonna be like what was the like, how did we keep score in that game?
I have no idea. We both had our eyes closed.
Oh yeah, I guess it was just like like a voluntary what do you call it? Self-imposed game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like as a kid, I mean, you have to have those kind of games because like,
I mean, we kind of grew up in an age where
Oh yeah,
This sounds so weird because we're pretty young, but we kind of grew up in an age where we didn't have cell phones.
yeah. At least like at our like
Younger, yeah.
Like kids
When all
now,
this happened.
like it actually kind of surprises me that kids now like literally they can just learn. They're just learning to talk and they're already holding a screen. That makes me sound like such an old person.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, just seeing that. I guess I'm like the in between of like I don't even know like people that are I guess like just mathematically speaking, people that are like 30 and like 10 years old. I'm just in that sweet spot where like I understand both sides and I kind of grew up with both, but then it's like I don't know which side I relate to more. I think I probably relate to the 30-year-old side more than the 10-year-old side.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 20, so it's like it's splitting the difference. But hopefully, I'm punching up here, not punching down. So yeah. Anyway, we were talking about you thinking about buying a manual car after
Yes,
you got the
that's
insurance payout.
And so I, since I had a pretty limited knowledge, I consulted my brother and our dad, and came up with a couple of decent options. And actually, there was a local dealership. It's actually one of the biggest used car dealerships in our area.
Yeah.
And
Southern
so-
Ontario, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
I've heard people come down from like, like Toronto, like
Yeah.
even further. I've heard right, like,
Yeah.
and that
definitely.
Toronto for us is like 2 hours away. Like if to go to like, I guess the Rogers Center or the is it the Rogers Center?
Like the downtown.
Yeah, like downtown, like CN Tower, I guess. That would take us maybe 2 hours 15 maybe.
Yeah. Around there.
Like straight from our house.
So it just kind of gives you a scope. Like if Toronto people are coming to this dealership,
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
Which is funny because they have like 20 times the
Endless,
amount of
yeah.
cars like selling off lots and just private sales. But I guess the fact that they came down to that, like that just speaks volumes for that dealership. Just really good. I guess it's just a really good, highly rated dealership.
Yeah. And so we picked out a few cars. Now they were all the same, but it was different trim levels, different years, different colors, all that kind of stuff. And I'll let you think of what that might be. So it was a manual transmission. It was about 3 years old at the time, so maybe I think it was a 2013. Or maybe it was like 2.5 years old, somewhere around there. But it was
Oh, that was it, eh? 2.5?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long, that seems like a long
I
time
know.
ago.
So it was a 2013 vehicle, German, and something that
We're
a
getting
younger
warmer.
guy could afford. And if you thought a Volkswagen Jetta,
Yeah.
then you are correct.
Yeah.
Actually, the funny thing is, we walked into the dealership and we had one picked out. We saw it online and we were like, yes, seems pretty good. Now, I kind of forget the trims of the 2013 Jettas, but I think there's like the Comfort line, which is the base, the Trend line, and then the High line. So we were kind of looking at the Comfort line, the base, steel wheels, hubcaps, all that kind of fun stuff.
All the typical base model.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a good price, but I knew our sales rep because he was the father of my coworker, and so I specifically went to him.
The connection.
Yeah, and he said, you know what? I can show you the car, sure, but I'm going to show you something that I think you'll like even more. And it was actually a year either older or newer, but it had about 20,000 less kilometers. It was the middle trim.
Going up in the world.
Yeah, so Comfort line or
Yeah.
High line, whichever one it is. Or no, High line or Trend line, whichever
line,
one
I
it
think,
is.
yeah.
It had a sunroof. I know. Sunroof. It had alloy wheels. I'm really hyping up this Jetta.
Yeah.
But
15s, guys. 15s or 16s or something.
the main thing is it was only $500 more expensive, and with lower kilometers and all these upgrades, I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And so I signed the deal, and I bought. That was my first car that I bought, thanks to my dad's generous kind of donation. I guess.
So what? So it was a 2013. What? How How do you remember how much it was, like the final price, like after sales and everything, or after tax and everything?
After interest as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because I guess
man.
you were making payments on it.
Yeah, I was. I think it was about, oh, I can't remember, maybe about 14,000.
14. But then with the four you got from the check, that was
Yeah.
like 10 grand. Still, that's not. I mean, I think for like your first like actual car, you were younger than 20 when you bought it, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
much younger.
I think I was 18,
Yeah.
actually.
I guess for a lot of people that's not much younger, but I
Yeah.
guess for us it's like, it's a lot of years, a lot of time in our life. But
Yeah. Either 18 or 19, but
yeah. But I mean, like even for then, like because you already had a full-time job coming out of high school.
yeah. That's
So
right.
you definitely had the means to pay for
Yeah.
for a car long term, I guess.
That's true.
So yeah, how did you find that, and what did you do to that thing after a little bit?
So it was. I mean, it did everything I wanted. It was.
Yeah. And I guess
it was good on gas.
yeah, I guess that was another big thing, right?
Yeah.
'cause you don't-
That's true.
Because if you're not really looking to have a fast car, yeah, you want to get like you either want like if you can have one car, you kind of want a balance of both.
Yeah.
But if you can have two cars, you want both at the extreme ends of like you want the high performance and like the extremely efficient.
Unless
That's
you
kinda-
can like afford.
Yeah. But I guess like
Yes.
but I guess like the most like the 99 percenters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, you bought it for manual transmission. It was a
Yeah.
better deal.
Yeah.
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 And it was very fuel efficient. So how
Yeah.
long did you own it before you started like wanting to do stuff?
So I'll give a background of my job first because this
Yeah,
is gonna
yeah,
come into play. I co-oped at a sign and graphic place. They're very nice to me in co-op, and they hired me the day after I graduated. So I kind of had a job, lined up for me right after high school.
Oh, I guess if some people don't know, co-op is like an apprenticeship, I guess. Like where
Yeah,
you
kind of.
like through your school program, you like
Yeah.
basically like work for
Yeah.
them for whatever however long. Anyway,
Yeah.
on with your story.
So we made signs, we printed decals for cars and stuff like that. So the first thing I did, and this is before anything, I wrapped the Volkswagen emblem. Now, if anyone has wrapped a Volkswagen emblem, they will tell you how much of a pain in the butt that is.
And this wasn't like spray on. This was like actual
Yeah,
wrapping,
this is actual, vinyl wrap. We had all the good stuff. It was the Avery SW900 series, which is the
Oh, graphic designers are going nuts right now. They're
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
the
I know that.
Supreme wrap, 900 conformable cast vinyl, and it was gloss. And I wrapped the front, and it was such a Frankenstein job. I think I cut it into two pieces, and it's just terrible. Like I tried to wrap around it, but it would peel up in a day, and I'd like push it back down. Yeah, just not very good.
The early days of graphic design.
Yeah, I wasn't a good installer by any means, but I just wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And so I drove it like that for a little bit, and then I got this crazy idea. It's like, hey, I work at a sign, and I work at a sign business where we do signs and make make graphics for vehicles, and we also wrap them. So I thought, what kind of color should I wrap my Jetta?
Was it just kind of like was it sort of just what's the word, like you just contemplate like what would I do it if, like did it start off kind of like that,
Well,
or were you just put like right away were you
I
like
think it
I'm
was
gonna
more
wrap my car?
so. It was kind of half and half. The installer that worked with me really wanted to wrap a car, and that got me thinking.
Helping each other out.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? This might actually kind of be a good marketing tool as well, because if you see a wrap, you want to wrap.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and you know what? After I got it wrapped,
It's a good one. It's a good.
It was like I think I had 20 people in the week ask me how much would it cost to wrap a vehicle.
This is how you do marketing, guys. You
Yeah, you got to give some to get some.
yeah.
But it wasn't my business or anything. I just worked there. But I wrapped it what was that color called? It was a ocean shimmer blue or something like that.
Yes.
Matte metallic ocean shimmer blue.
So it wasn't really like all the way matte, I guess.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a matte like.
It was matte, but it had like a little sheen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, actually kind of a cool color.
It was a
Now,
really cool color.
That was my second choice though. I was flipping through the color book and I was like, oh man, this color would be awesome. So I called them up and it was discontinued. So I was like, oh, this one seems similar. It was a 3M versus an Avery product. And I was like, okay. But the swatch was about like this big. You know, it was smaller than the size. It was about the size of a business card, let's say. And when I actually got the wrap, I kind of was like, oof.
Disappointed.
This is not the color I expected it to be because it was a lot brighter.
Now what color was that? Was that the blue or did the other color that you were originally thinking?
The blue. Yeah, the blue that I had. The other color was a darker blue.
Oh, was it?
And this one I got and I opened the box, obviously pretty excited, and I was like, ooh, this is really bright, don't you think? And my coworker's like, wow, huh.
What color do you think you could compare that color just so that people can kind of get an idea? Do you know that blue Jag F-Type SVR? Do you think that color kind of, it's like I guess on that car it's like a glossy.
Yeah.
But if you just imagine that in like a matte metallic finish, as you call it, that's kind of what the color was. Maybe a little bit darker, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
And a little more deeper, I guess that's a better way to say it. But overall, like I think that's kind of what the color was. Just to give you an idea.
That's true. And I wrapped the roof gloss black.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I tried to wrap the roof myself, and this is my first like vehicle wrap that I've ever done, and I tried to do it myself, and I wasted 6 feet of vinyl because I couldn't get it. Oof. I was so mad, but fortunately my coworker was pretty experienced at that stuff, and he did it very generously. He only charged me just like a pack of beer. The typical the typical favor that you ask.
Favor
someone.
Payment, yeah.
Right.
He was like working on weekends, like and like after work and everything, like after hours.
I felt so bad because a couple times he was like, "Hey, can you come and give me a hand?"
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dude, I kind of have plans."
Yeah, that's such an awkward thing. Like when you ask someone for a favor and like.
And he was working on my thing.
Yeah. And you're already on the rocks, but he's like literally doing it for you, like a thing that you own. It's just kind of, it's really a weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess you got it done in the end and you gave him what he wanted. So,
sure.
But so how long did you keep that wrap on for? And that was a full car wrap, right? Like hood, fenders, bumpers, like trunk, everything.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And then the gloss black roof wrap. I forgot about that. That's kind of funny.
I think looking back on it now,
I was just about to ask you.
It would have looked so weird if I did the blue on the roof.
Yeah.
And also, I would have definitely chosen a different color.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, now keep in mind, guys, he wasn't, I guess you weren't really exactly like a car guy then.
No, not at all.
So like, as a car guy, you kind of understand like there's like a performance aspect and there's a visual aspect. And like the way to not get roasted, I mean, it's completely fine if you go for it, but the way to not get roasted is to do the performance first and then get the visuals done.
Yeah, true. Or like do kind of one at a time.
Bounce it out. At least try to balance it out, right? Like not try to make it seem like, oh, I got this crazy thing over here and you're rocking like 200 horsepower from like some Chevy V6. But yeah, no, so this was like a completely stock rally suspension looking Jetta.
Yeah.
15-inch alloy wheels. They were like the silver alloys, like
they were pretty bad.
Thick spoke. The sidewalls were you could it was like maybe you're the width of someone's hand.
Literally not one modification other than window tint and the wrap.
See, I think, like, honestly, I mean, it's as much of as a joke as it is. If you put, like, wheels and coilovers on that thing, I feel like a lot of people would be like, yo, that's a pretty sick Jetta. Like, car guys.
Totally,
I mean, like normal people would just see the color and be like, oh, that's a cool color, or like, hey, that's a kind of crazy Jetta.
Oh, it would
whatever.
have stood out for sure.
So yeah, I mean, if you put like, oh man, could you imagine like those deep dish BBS
Oh yeah.
stanced a little bit?
Exactly, yeah.
Got that nice tight fitment.
Lowered. Yeah,
I think a lot of, especially Volkswagen guys, they'd be like, yo,
Dude, that's
this guy-
like every Volkswagen though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You got the wheels, you got the coilovers, the exhaust, and oh yeah, that's about it.
I mean, like that's basically where I'm at right now, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just kind of how I prefer it right now. But I'm definitely gonna go over. But enough about me. So you own you.
He talks about himself for like, 10
thanks.
seconds.
All right, we just cut out there. Battery timed out. But anyway, we're talking about So yeah, I don't like talking about myself too much when we got someone else around. So. I mean, you guys hear me all the time. Like we're 9 episodes in, and you're just now hearing the voice of someone else. So I think this is more so about them and not me. So now what? How long did you keep the Jetta for after you wrapped it again?
Oh man, I think okay, so I wrapped it in the March.
In the March.
In the March, and spoiler alert, I bought a new vehicle in
we're getting
September.
close to that. Yeah.
However, I don't know if it was the same September or the September after.
I think you owned it for at least
I feel like it was the September after.
Yeah, I feel like you owned it for a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe I didn't have the Jetta unwrapped for that, like not wrapped for that long.
Yeah, no, I don't think you did. I'm pretty sure
Wow.
it was just a few.
A few months.
Yeah. No, maybe like a couple months. Which I think it wasn't. It really wasn't that long to my memory at
I
least.
guess not. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Actually.
So within that year is when you decided to get a new car, or was it the year after?
Actually, funny story. It might have been that year. It might have been the year after. I think it was the year after. My memory about that is kind of
hazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason why I decided I wanted a new car was because let me think about this. I think what happened was I was just like, okay, you know what?
Game changer.
I'm gonna look up other vehicles, and within that week,
Oh, that's how it all starts.
I walked into that same dealership, and I was like, yo, I saw this vehicle on your website. I want to take a look at it. And this dealership was about a minute down the road from my work.
Yeah, that's true.
So the salesman, like we knew all the guys because they got all the cars tinted, paint protection.
Did all
at
their
our
work for
place.
them, basically. Yeah. Well, not for them.
So the salesman drove up with the car. It's like, why don't you go for a little test drive?
That's how they hook you in.
And I remember it was a Tuesday, and I took it for a little test drive, came back. I was like, you know what? I'm in.
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel like everybody knows, like, unless you're like super
Oh,
cold
gosh.
when it comes to like buying cars and stuff. Once you get that first test drive in, if you're really like adamant about getting like the best condition or whatever, once you get that test drive in, you're basically like, that's kind of like you're locked in.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of calls it like the curse of the test drive.
True. But the thing is, like, I didn't really know anything about cars.
Yeah.
I've never done my own oil change even.
Yeah.
And I just walked in. Next day, I think, or same day, he drove up with the vehicle for a test drive, and then that night I signed the papers.
I kind of remember you were like a little bit frantic about it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is all happening really fast. Because like when you're younger, you don't usually, you kind of take some time, you think it over, you talk to your parents and everything, obviously.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you don't even have your full license. So, you got to have some kind of second opinion. But it was pretty quick. I mean, I guess you did have a full-time job and you were
Actually,
making...
here's another part of the story. I don't know if I told you this. I think I did. I was like, this was before, and I was like, yeah, I really want this car. There's no way I can afford it. It's like 3 times what my Jetta was.
And who were you talking to then?
What do you mean?
Like when you were saying that you couldn't afford it? Like were you talking to the dealers?
No, I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know what this phone
yeah, you had a phone thing. Anyway, yeah, you're telling yourself.
Oh, actually, I do know. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me see if I can afford this. So what I did was I called my boss. I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you think I can get a huge, you know what? Can I just get a small $5 an hour raise?"
Dude, when you're 18 or 19, getting a $5 raise at like any job is like
Yeah,
that's like a game changer.
Huge, yeah. And so my boss said, thought about it for a little bit, and then said, "You know what? Once, because my coworker he was moving to another city, and so I was gonna take his pay pretty much. So I asked her, and she said, when he moves, you can." And I knew he was moving in like a month, and I was like, "All right, thank you." All right, let's call this dealership and buy this car.
Click, and then you redial to the next number. Yeah.
And I was just so pumped. I was like, "Yo, $5 an hour raise! I can buy this car."
Yeah, both of those at the same time would be like such a high for a lot of people. Like getting
that's
that
such
feeling.
a dumb idea. I would never recommend that. Imagine if you're the employer, and you're like, "Yeah, I guess, you know what? Yeah, you can have it." And then like a week later, you drive in with like this new car, and it's like, what the heck are you doing?
I mean, like it's so funny. Like you obviously know these things later on, but then like once when you're in the moment, you know, you're young, you got all these people to impress, you got to prove yourself.
Yeah,
it's like whatever you can do to get yourself on the map is like, I'm doing it. All right, so what was the car that you actually ended up buying?
So it was a 2017. So I think at this time it was just 1 year old.
Wow.
2017 Subaru WRX.
Not STI.
Not STI, WRX.
Yeah, that would have been what, like a $10,000 premium, maybe more.
No, I think the other ones were about 5,000 more.
I guess if they were used, right? Yeah,
they were used.
I guess they wouldn't be 10,000 new.
I remember when I walked into the dealership to look at the car, I think, or something. One of the other salesmen that I knew, he was like, "Oh, why don't you look at this one?" And there was a WRX in the actual lobby, but it was a Sport Tech package, which I think means that it was a CVT.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Hell no! Ain't no way I'm buying
dude, try
a quote unquote fast car with an automatic CVT transmission."
Dude, it's one thing to go from like the 3-pedal manual to like a 2-pedal like like 6-speed or whatever 8-speed automatic. But then when you go from like a real 3-pedal manual to I guess a single, like not even a gear, like CVT, that's like the worst thing you could do. I don't know anyone who would do that, to be honest.
So bad.
And I feel like it's the same way. People who drive CVTs just do not understand why people have manuals. At least like for the most part. But I guess Dad, he's got a CVT and he understands manuals, but he's a special guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, so you bought a 17 Subaru WRX. What color?
It was black.
Black. And were you wanting black at the time? I mean, obviously now you really like it, but
I really like black. What I didn't really think about was how easily it gets dirty, or how easily the dirt shows.
Yeah.
If I were to choose a color, I think I would have actually chosen white.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's kind of funny because like in a way, like a lot of people think like, oh, it would show a lot more like dirt and stuff easier.
Right.
But I guess the fact that like it's white and it like reflects so much light, like you have so much like light coming into your eyes that you don't really notice all the small little dust. Whereas with the black car, you like it kind of it's almost like the negative. Like you see the dirt first, and then it's just kind of like the darkness of the paint.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I actually didn't know that you wanted a white one originally.
Well, I mean, I thought about that
over
after.
a black one.
Yeah, but I saw that car and I was like, "Yo, this is sick."
Yeah,
it's murdered right out.
Yeah.
It had like the dark gray stock 17 wheels.
Yeah.
And when I saw this thing, I was like, "Yo, this thing is aggressive.
Yeah,
this thing is sick."
I mean, like obviously when you're that young.
Yeah, that's true.
I say when you're that young as if that wasn't like 2 years ago for me, but
well, it was also the feeling of this thing's new.
Yeah.
This thing's a lot more powerful.
Yeah,
it's double the horsepower of my Jetta.
Yeah, and to most people that's like, I guess that's good. It's a 4-cylinder too.
Yeah,
it's good. I guess it's more power. Awesome.
But
yeah. So you went from So you went from a Pontiac '05 Pontiac Vibe
Mm-hmm.
to a Jetta, which I think actually had less power, surprisingly.
Yeah.
It was a bigger car. It was more comfortable, that's for sure. Had probably the best speakers out of all of your owned cars.
Yeah, true.
And then from that, a 2013, you went Jetta. You went to a 2017 WRX.
Yeah, so the slow upgrade.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the slow upgrade from a Vibe to a Jetta, and then all of a sudden to a 2017 WRX.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty linear growth. I think.
You think
at
so?
At least for guys our age, yeah, I think that's a pretty linear growth.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I just had a thought here. Something about the Subaru. Oh yeah. No, I lost it.
So another good thing about the Subaru that I thought was, oh man, the all-wheel drive is going to be awesome for the wintertime. And at this time I was like, I'm excited to drive this both in the summer and the wintertime. So this is perfect.
So you were a lot more like confident and comfortable driving in the winter now that you had the famed Subaru all-wheel drive and everything.
Yeah, I really wanted to test its limits, but I also didn't want to end up like the Pontiac Vibe.
The first time, yeah.
The first time.
You made sure you were learning from your lessons.
Exactly, yeah. So I still drove it carefully.
Of course, as you should.
To this day, I drive kind of like an old grandpa with the thing. Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Not as in like under the speed limit, like taking forever to do turns, all that.
But just like taking care of it.
Yeah, like being a little more observant.
Yeah.
I guess, and being wary of like what's your conditions and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's good. Okay, now I finally remember the thing I was gonna say.
Okay, let's
So at what point do you think between you, I guess, like wrapping your Jetta to like to where you are now, at what point do you think you sort of like realize like, oh dude, this car thing is like, yeah, this is for me now?
It was after I bought the WRX.
Like right after? Yeah.
Pretty much right after. I just flipped the switch. I was like, yo, I'm gonna search up every car thing. I'm gonna make my car look sick, look like my own. No more wrapping first. We're doing like performance modifications.
Oh yeah, I mean like, so what was your first like initial thought of like, oh dude, I'm gonna upgrade everything? What was like the transition between I'm gonna upgrade everything to like, oh wait, these things cost money, like you gotta like the specific, you gotta like find the specific one that fits your car.
Right.
Like what was that like? Were you just kind of like, oh yeah, oh no, or was it more kind of like oh, I guess I gotta do this. Okay, let me look into this. Let me look.
Well, it was kind of a realization. I mean, I knew that obviously modifications would cost a lot.
Yeah.
But just kind of entering that I guess scene.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to do. And looking at other Subarus, I was like, I don't think it's that different.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like completely different. I'm talking modified Subarus, of course.
That's true.
They got all the things under the hood. They have like suspension components, wheels, tires, all that stuff. But I'm like comparing the two. I'm like, you know what? That's a Subaru. That looks kind of the same. But one thing that I got into not long after I bought a Subaru was Fitment Industries.
Oh yeah.
And their YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo,
that was like when they were really starting to pop off.
Yeah. I don't know how we discovered them, but we discovered their series.
Oh, man. You watch enough car videos and you just stumble upon every.
It was like the rate or build. Or what is it?
Oh, rating your build? Or
rating your build.
Like the viewer builds?
Yeah, that's right. And it was like episode 1. I don't remember when that came out. But I watched every single one of those. I went on the gallery and I was like, yo, this car looks sick. And then I was slowly getting more and more knowledge.
Yeah, shout out Fitment Industries.
Yeah, thank you for helping me onto the scene.
Yeah. Man, what was like the very first thing? Obviously you wanted to do a lot of things, but what was like your main like I gotta do this? Like before you even like learned about all the different stuff, like you just like, I just want to do this one. Like I heard about this thing or whatever. And...
it was an exhaust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's like, I guess that's like the main thing.
That was the first thing I did actually. Yeah.
How loud did you want to go? Did you want it to be like as loud as possible? Just like.
Well, this was kind of my daily driver.
Right.
And we have a lot of driving tasks where we kind of want to be
like fairly dignified.
Kind of
I guess
like
you could say.
incognito-ish.
Yeah.
You know, not pulling so much attention to us.
Yeah.
So I was looking at exhausts with like mufflers and
Mm.
stuff. But also, I was just looking at deals on Kijiji and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know these big name brands or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I ended up finding one. It was a Magnaflow, like pretty much a catback, actually.
Mhm.
It was a full catback. And it had, it was like, it was pretty well used. It was kind of not the stainless 304 steel, but it was like the one under.
Like the easy, more easily rustable.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess when you're buying.
But I was like, it's under the car. It doesn't matter.
It's like the one part of every car that doesn't get covered by warranty for rust.
Yeah. So we drove to Scarborough, Toronto area, and we picked it up. I think I bought it for like $700.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
I guess
for
so.
an exhaust.
I mean, for a catback Magnaflow, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, quad tip on a Subaru. Yeah, I guess that's not bad.
And we installed it as soon as possible. Mike and I actually we used my works shop.
Yeah, because we didn't even have a garage back then.
No,
did
we didn't.
Like we would have just had to do it in the gravel driveway with like we didn't even have jack stands. We had one kind of like weird like floor jack that wasn't really that good, like the red one.
Oh yeah. I bought jack stands for this.
Yeah. I mean, like as we advance, like I guess got further into the car thing, we mostly just kind of, it was mostly you, but like we started buying car tools and parts
and still,
yeah.
We got a long ways to go. Cause, a lot of the time I'm like, oh, man, I really need this tool.
Yeah.
So then I borrow it from work.
It seems like with every new job, we seem to we're like missing that one thing that we need. It's like now we gotta get it.
And now it's such a hassle.
Yeah, but then the next job becomes easier, which is good because I guess that's the investment that you make with tools and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So okay, so after that exhaust, I mean, after that, at that point, you just kind of like were basically into it. Now you've like got all this.
Yeah, I just needed the knowledge and just to build up that expertise, I guess.
Yeah.
I had the fuel to the spark.
Yeah.
I just needed, a knowledge of how to fuel that spark.
Yeah.
And so, Fitment Industries, yes, helped a lot. But also just reading up on forums. Honestly, at this point, I just like fell right into this pit of car information, especially for Subarus. And I was like, yo, there's so much out here. And then I was making a mod list. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. All right, let's.
This guy was spreadsheeting
when
everything.
when I can budget for this, or when I can afford this. And so that was pretty much my my delve into the car scene.
Yeah. That's kind of funny because a lot of guys, I feel like, I really don't know. A lot of guys, I think they start out like pretty early, like as kids, like I did.
Yeah.
And then eventually they kind of build their way up. Whereas with some others like yourself, you just kind of got thrown into it. Now you're just all the way into it. It's funny. I always make jokes about, is that no, okay. Yeah, no, I always make jokes about him, like me being like the lifelong car guy. And then he comes along and buys a like a car that now has, I think, close to as much power as my car, right? Maybe.
So it has right now. Should we talk about this or should we talk about this later?
No. Okay. We just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
So right now, after getting an e-tune like last year, the dyno sheet read 276 wheel horsepower and about 320 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah. So now he's definitely like he's ahead of me in terms of power figures. So I'm sitting here joking like, dude, here I was my whole life into cars, and now you just leapfrogged over me from a very far distance.
If you looked at a line graph, Mike would have this kind of gradual.
Yeah, I'd start like all the way
going.
from like zero, and it would be like a very, very just kind of slow, nice burn.
Yeah, that's right.
And then for you, it's kind of like the whole like just smack in the face, start from like
right at 19 years old, and all of a sudden just
huge spike.
Pretty much just straight upwards.
But I feel like that's either way. I mean, as long as you're enjoying it, I feel like that's definitely the main part. And I think for a lot of car guys, no matter how you get into it, I feel like as long as you can have some level of common sense and like respect for others and everything. You know, the typical stuff. I feel like you're pretty well off as a car guy. I mean, we all come from different places.
Yeah,
So
I think so too. I think that's important of being a quote unquote car guy or car girl is having a passion for it, having knowledge about about cars, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's definitely par for the course. You just kind of
working, like knowing how to do stuff yourself.
Yeah.
And of course, kind of respecting everybody's build.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some that are, I guess not everything is 100% like.
Not everything is respectable. Of
no,
course.
yeah.
Like if you're coming up to a meet with like. I don't even.
Yeah, we all know who like what kind of stuff we're talking about. But I mean, I guess in general, like there's just the people that have like different tastes.
Yeah.
Like for like me personally, I love a nice, clean, just kind of like daily build is like my sort of thing. Some people are into like the whole like wide body, like super stance, like tracked out, even on like normal cars, like a Civic Si or something, which is cool. Like I'm totally like I personally would never do it, but obviously the fact that someone else is into that, I mean that's really cool. Like that car meet we went to recently, that one Elantra. I mean, like you think of like an older Elantra and you're just like, I mean, it's an Elantra, right? But then when you put that much work into it and that much money and it actually ends up like turning out really good and like really clean and very well done. I mean, you really can't bash it. You shouldn't either.
There's nothing but respect for those kinds of people, especially ones really cool. Who go against the norm and do things that kind of they've come up with from the very get-go. Very little inspiration, just kind of what they want visualized, put into their vehicle.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about being a car guy or, just anyone who's into cars is that, or I guess most hobbies in general, is that you have that nice variety where you can like, oh, hey, I never knew about this thing, and you can learn more, and then, all that good stuff, which transitions me very nicely into our next 9-minute segment as we have that much time left. Let's play a game of Would You Rather. How about that?
Okay, sure.
Just a quick couple rounds maybe because you got to go soon. But
all right.
So we've been talking about this for a while, right?
Yes,
the Would You
that's
Rather.
right. That's right.
I've been able to. I asked my brother actually recently, and when I say recently, I mean a long time ago, to make up a Would You Rather list that I could maybe do in a video or something. But we'll do that right now, just shortly. So, Would you rather? Theme song plays. I don't know. There's a theme song in there. All right. So, would you rather have a? Oh man, this is hard. You already had some thought up, didn't you?
You know what? Yeah.
Let
me just pull it up. Actually,
okay. Yeah.
Because he asked me to do this a long time ago, and I have to go all the way down to my Google Docs for this thing.
I feel like you sent me that list, and I looked over it once, or I did. I know you sent me it, but I didn't look over it because I didn't want to see it.
Would you want some normal ones or some wacky ones?
Let's go. Let's start with one normal. Let's start with one normal.
One normal one?
Yeah.
Let's do the okay, so would you rather have a Honda Civic Type R?
Okay. New, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the Golf R. And I labeled it the Battle of the R's.
Okay, here's the thing with me. You obviously know what kind of car guy I am, what kind of car I drive right now.
Yes.
I think you know which one I would buy or which one I would get.
And
which do you think I would get?
The R.
Yeah.
The Golf R.
Got me on that one. Yeah. And here's my reasoning. I'm like a staunch believer in all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. I have nothing against front-wheel drive. If anything, the Civic Type R actually, in a lot of cases, outperforms all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive cars very impressively. So, however, and also me not being a Honda guy. Again, not that I hate Hondas. It's just I'm not a Honda guy. I think I'd rather go for the Volkswagen Golf R because of its all-wheel drive. It's got, I think it generally has a more like open car market where you can get more, you have a little more options and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I also like the sound better. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Honda Civics, it's rare to hear a nice one.
Yeah. And that's not to bash it. It's just it's like what 1 point is it? No, it's a 2 liter, right? 2 liter.
I think so.
Turbocharged 4-cylinder. Yeah, I mean.
But I think what it is that it's just so new.
Yeah.
That people just haven't found or made a good enough exhaust. Yeah. No, I might be completely wrong because my knowledge of the Honda Civic Type R is kind of limited.
Yeah.
But you would say a Golf R.
I would, yeah.
I would actually say the Type R.
Yeah, and just for that extra edge in performance and
no, actually, performance can take a backseat in this one, but I really like how quirky it looks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like the looks and I like how it's backed by the power.
Yeah, yeah. I do really like the way it looks. I think originally, I mean, I don't think I'm one of those guys that like as soon as something new comes out and it's just like out there, I don't think I immediately just start bashing on it like a lot of new cars I'm just mostly indifferent to, and then I slowly form an opinion. But yeah, it's the same for the Type R. I mean, at first I was like what's going on here? But over the years, I really came to like it, especially the front end design.
Yeah,
I think
the front end
they really killed it, and with the colors that they have.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the new Civic in general, I think, has a really good design. But yeah, for me, it would be Golf R. For him, it would be a Type R. And it would be, for you, it would be the, just that nice, that unique kind of design and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. All right, next one. Let's see what else we got.
All right,
let's go to a wacky one.
This is kind of a quirky. This is the first one I thought of course, coming from the Subaru guy.
Yeah.
A Subaru STI with 500 horsepower on a stock block versus a Hellcat swapped Miata.
Oh man. STI Hellcat swap.
Keep in mind, I mean, the STIs are notorious for their terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew that's why you said you had to mention stock block. But oh man, see, the thing is, I love the Subaru. I love the STI for the way. I actually like the way it looks. I love the way it sounds. I mean, everybody knows the way it sounds. Yeah. The quad tips and everything.
Yeah.
But the Miata with this is a Hellcat engine.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I feel like that thing would not even be able to handle it. But I guess if it could, like, I guess if you had the reinforced like drivetrain or drive shaft and drivetrain and everything, it's kind of a hard choice. See, I want to go with the Miata just because of how like crazy and ballsy and like, off the walls it is. But I think I would probably actually go with the Subaru because it has more usability. For my life personally, it has more usability. It has a decent amount of power. I don't think I could handle even 500 horsepower for me is a lot.
Yeah.
But like 700 in like a rear-wheel drive, tiny wheelbase car. I mean, it would be hilarious. It would be an absolute blast. I would love to, like, maybe for a day or two. That'd be the funnest thing in the world. But I think for like actual ownership and everything, I'd have to go with the Subaru.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to drive around like just knowing like, oh, here go the head gaskets.
I think I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, you just
gotta drive very carefully.
Yeah.
Like not use the whole 500 horsepower.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be hard, but
that would
eventually you would be able to do it.
Yeah, that would.
All right, let's see another. Let's go back to a normal one maybe. Let's
one?
inject some logic back into our.
So I got okay. So I have a. Let's do this. The EcoBoost Mustang 2020.
Oh.
Versus the V6 Camaro.
Oh man.
2020.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I don't even really know much about the V6 Camaro, but I don't know who I roast more on the road when I see one, or V6 Mustang owners or V6 Camaro owners. See, the thing about the Mustang is it's gotten to the point where it's more
this
about...
is an EcoBoost Mustang.
Oh, yeah. No, but the thing about the Mustang is that it's gotten to the point where it's more of like a balanced performance car. I mean, I guess the Camaro has too, but it's harder, I think, for the Camaro to shake that muscle car image. So then when you hear like, oh, muscle car with a V6, it's not really something that you want to hear. But
right.
Now, as far as that goes, I think I'd have to go with the EcoBoost. Just because at that point, I'm not even thinking about like the engine anymore. I'm just like, which one do I like?
Which one looks better? Yeah, true.
And I'm definitely into the Mustang more, and I think it's easier to drive and everything like everyone says.
I think the toughest thing about the Camaro, the hardest sell, especially the New Year's, is that it just kind of doesn't look as good, and the visibility is just notoriously bad on those things. We've worked with a lot of Camaros at work, and you get into one and the windows are like up to here.
It's like you're in a sub, right?
Yeah, it's like what the heck? It's very odd. The windows are like 8 inches high.
Oh yeah, like when you get closer to that, like when you're trying to look back over your shoulder, like you really just gotta gotta trust that there's nobody there. You gotta trust your blind spot monitoring.
Now Camaro owners might be like,
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is a terrible
You
podcast.
kids think life is so hard with your...
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think I agree with that. I do think the Mustang looks better, and I would definitely take the EcoBoost engine over the V6.
Yeah, and I mean, the EcoBoost I think has a lot of credibility. To be fair, I think maybe the Camaro V6 engine does. I don't even know what displacement it is, to be honest. But
Michael, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But no, I think the EcoBoost Ford, like Ford's EcoBoost engines, I think they just have a pretty decent credibility. So yeah, for that I'm definitely.
Plus that gas mileage though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're buying a Mustang or a Camaro, I mean, you kind of want to forget about that. But if it comes down to it, that's definitely what I go for. All right, so that was a quick bathroom break we had there. Now we're back. All right, so we got one more Would You Rather coming up for you guys, and then we're gonna close it out. So
okay,
lay it on me. Which one?
All right, I got a special one for you.
Okay.
So I don't have a year written down, but a BMW M3 with a livery drawn by a child, or an Audi A3 with Walmart spinners.
I'm assuming this child isn't artistically gifted.
No, and you have to keep it on there.
Oh man. See, here's the thing. My instantaneous thought was like, I want the M3 because it's, for me it's the better car compared to the A3.
Yeah. That's right.
But at the same time, it's like,
who knows what this child is going to do?
Yeah. Oh, he could draw anything too.
You got to do the whole, the white background and everything.
Yeah. So he's basically like this. Like this is like a white car. He's got like, I don't know. Let's say he's like got like a piece of paper, draws something, like just fills up the paper with drawings, and then puts it through a computer. Computer puts it onto the vinyl, and then we wrap that right on the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Dude, that'd be. Yeah, see, immediately my brain is thinking like, okay, which one would I, at that point, which one would I rather like just drive? And for me, that would definitely be the M3. But the A3.
Now,
oh, man.
I feel like that would kind of be a logical choice because people would see the livery, sure, but people who know the car would be like, okay, well, you know what, he's driving an M3.
Yeah. And it'd be like,
he's got some credit.
Like, I'd forever be that guy that's like, oh, he's got an M3, but he's got that like stupid livery.
It's like, what the heck is that?
Like, there's definitely cars that we see where we're like, oh, dude, that's like a really cool car, but like, what kind of like, what kind of paint, paint job or whatever is that?
What kind of graphics package?
Yeah. So, oh man, but okay, I think to make it harder, I'd say like maybe like the S3.
Yeah,
that would be a real challenge because the S3 would. Oh, but with Walmart, was it hubcaps or like
spinner? Like by Walmart, I mean like cheap.
Oh yeah,
so cheap spinners.
Oh, spinners too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like as far as like and otherwise they're both completely stock.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Now spinners, well you could, I guess you could lower both or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could do other modifications. Yeah. But, for spinners, I don't think that they look good on any car.
No,
personally.
they don't.
Unless you're looking for like a redonkulous build.
Unless you're going for that look, which is an interesting. I don't know. You'd have to tell me why, or just give me the story behind it. But unless you're going for that look, you just really can't pull it off.
Very true.
So I think I'd have to go, and I'm imagining like the worst things this kid could draw. Like he's drawing like. Some
it might
sort
just
of,
be like a family or something.
Maybe,
just
like
scribbles,
just even. Flowers and like a UFO or something. And like
maybe this livery is better than some of these out there.
I think I'd go with the M3 over the S3 with the spinners.
I would actually,
because I feel like at that point, once you got that kind of livery on, you just kind of got to own it. Like if it wasn't your choice, then you just kind of got to own it. Like, oh yeah, this is my livery. Like, I just like to have fun and like I'm just messing around or whatever, and like I just like to get a like reaction out of people or whatever, and just like, and if another kid sees it, he's gonna be like, hey, like, oh, looks like someone else, like I could draw that, and it's on a car, like,
yeah.
I feel like it'd be funny just to see like a kid,
or
like,
maybe someone would see it and go like, oh,
he's very hard to.
No,
he's got a special.
No.
He's got a special eye for liveries. He's really out there and he's doing his thing.
I don't know if anyone would think that, but I was more so thinking, okay, this is like a tribute to his son.
Yeah. But then would it be way more disappointing if you were just like, no, I just threw it on there. He's like, oh wow, this guy's kind of like a douche. He just threw on some random kid's drawing, but or just like random drawing that. I'm like, what's going on with this guy?
Like making fun of him or something?
Yeah. No, I think once you like, I think it's easier to talk your way out of a kid's livery. Like way easier to talk your way out of a kid's livery than to talk your way out of spinners.
Oof. Yeah. That'd be...
So M3 over that, but
I agree.
Well, that's been the episode. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, it has.
First time I've had a guest on the show. That was really nice. You finally got to hear someone else's voice and stories and opinions better than myself.
See me again.
Yeah, hopefully we're definitely gonna have. I'd love to get other people on here and stuff, my other car friends, and maybe even a non-car friend.
But the whole quarantine thing, it's kind of a little tough.
It's tricky. Everyone's got their own schedules. But anyway, that's been it. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're watching for the first time, you actually have a reason to watch the podcast. All right, yeah. Do you have any plugs you want to do, like Instagram, anything like that?
No, I'm okay. Just if you can't, I know Mike works pretty hard at this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to just drop a like, subscribe, I'm sure that'll make him happy.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Once again. All right, we'll see you again next time on the UFPC, and take care, guys. Bye.